We began before all of the younger races. Before the worlds knew of us. We lurked in the dark between worlds, keeping the silence. Hated noise came, and we followed. As our roots spread, we found the sparks of life, the sparks of civilization, and snuffed them. We are the protectors of true serenity, guardians of equality. We are the root. We've been to countless worlds and worked our way through the protections placed upon them. Guardians will fall, one by one, to our agents. We are Clawbone. Cessation is equality. Serenity among the ashes. This story begins with a human called Harsgaard. Long ago, we left a message on the hated Earth, one that promised aid. Our chosen avatar deciphered our message, and we waited, hungry for the moment when he would finally let us in. We watched as the man unlocked secret after secret. Eventually, the first dreamer began to reach out. But we dared not act too quickly. We had to be sure our victory was in grasp. Already, Harsgaard had confirmed himself as our agent, working to meet us and finally grasp immortality and aid that he desired. Selfless, but also greedy. And that was exactly what we needed. Dreamers made their connections, linking to the beasts and monsters that held us at bay. They would become our screen, proof that our method left nothing to fear. And finally, one dreamer met us, but Harsgaard knew he had finally made contact. And then, we acted. Our fibrous arms surged through the breach in Earth's defenses. The lab where the dreamers rested, Ward 16, was well defended. We were locked underground, blocked from progress, but our influence was not so easily removed. Across all of the wards, we began to surface, no longer held back by the ancient core, for we had been invited by one of their own. At long last, we could begin the last phase of our conquest of all these worlds. We would rid these planets of the despicable life that now blanketed its surface. Earth fell quickly, but not in totality. We failed to wipe out humans entirely, and a champion eventually rose to combat us. Ignorant of our nature and their own past, the hero began their journey. Krell, the home of the Goblin Empire, guarded by the proud Cyclops. We installed ourselves as an advisor to the king, turning him against the realm's guardian. With our plan but begun, what a surprise it was to find the humans' hero on a quest to kill a great dragon. We once again offered our aid, our advice, our power, for the opportunity was great. The hero was infested with ourselves and given use of our artifacts. Together, with their own intelligence, they found a way to slay the mighty Cyclops, proving what a hero they truly were. We laughed at our own cunning, as the very tool that was sent to destroy us was corrupted to our own ends. Root begins to engulf the now waning empire of the Krell, pulverizing their sacred Krellerite beneath our grasp. The hero made their way to Yaesha, our next target, and one that would be deeply wounded by their visit. Once a serious thorn in our side, the hero braved its depths and discovered the dangers that awaited them within the traditions of the Pan. Moving statues, deadly traps, Their guardian, Many Faces, awaited our acolyte. At first, the humans seemed unfit for the task. They fell over and over, but they stubbornly refused to give up. Our infestation grew as they did, and the Guardian was finally destroyed. But this would not be the end of Yaesha's story, for another traveler from Earth was here. Ford, the one who bound us within Ward 16, was also here. He made friends with the Goatman rebels, and assisted with their fight against the Queens and the Empress. The Pan's ruler had made an entourage of immortal nobles from a crippled tree of immortality, the Thayan. As we followed his journey through Yaesha, Ford's thread twined and parted from Yaesha's many times. Eventually, he was captured, and at last we cheered. Our greatest foe on Earth, the Founder, would meet his end helping a world that was doomed by one of his own. Though, of course, all of these worlds are doomed by their own actions. Rhom. The one failure we've ever suffered. This time, our foe used their world as a trap. Blasting open the door, we poured into the planet and were met with a hostility that rivals even ours. Technology countered our magic, but our numbers are unending. For 50 years, Rhom fought us, with Ezlan, the Undying king, at its head. We struggled against them, and eventually the tide began to turn in our favor, and the war started to draw to a close. And then, the unthinkable happened. Ezlan, overcome by the folly of his invitation, sacrificed the entire surface of his planet. A molten flame scorched our bark, and we were driven back for the first time. But Rhom had paid the price that Ezlan no longer could. Radiation poisoned the land, and the remaining inhabitants mutated into feral beasts, almost unable to even think conscious thought. Yes, we had been pushed back, but our aggressor had rendered themselves unable to continue the fight to do so. Even now, we laugh at the Undying King, whose hubris doomed his planet. And then, he gave us a gift we were not expecting. The swamps of Corsus proved to be a breeding ground for one like us. A world that had escaped our notice. It was now overrun by the Vixworm, progenitors of the Iskal cult. Led by the Iskal Queen, Ezlan sent an agent to the world to kill its guardian, much to our surprise. The world was already doomed, but we were overjoyed to meet another one like us. Soon, their fire will burn within us. At last, we return to Earth. Harsgaard has done his work well. Our hero has opened up the path between the worlds, ending the lives of Krell, Yaesha, and even the Labyrinth's guardians. Just as they were to strike the finishing blow, the Conqueror became the conquered, and Harsgaard secured our connection to the world. Earth, the center of the Labyrinth of Worlds, is ours once more. But our points of entry, the wards of dreamers, are not all under our control. One dreamer escaped from us. Her name is Clemantine. The successors to Ford followed the missing daughter, tracking her to a new world, Reisum. Overrun by enslaver rats, their guardian had stood strong against us. Yet they left the door wide open, and we began our assault. And yet, against all of our might, we could not crush it, for its guardian still lives. How? What power does it have to stand against us? Eventually, we found our answer. Clementine has been bolstering the Guardian every time we strike, thwarting our onslaught. Eventually, we made a mistake, and Clementine turned her formidable powers from the defense of Reisum to assisting the defense of Earth. Harsgaard, our first and most faithful servant, finally fell at the hands of the Founder's successors, and we were cast out from the center of the labyrinth. But the root is eternal. We will return, for while we have been delayed, we cannot be beaten. Our influence runs deep, and our dreamers still answer our calls. Cessation is equality, serenity among ashes.
Hey everyone! Once again trying something new here, and I really hope you liked it. If you weren't familiar with Remnant from the Ashes before, now you at least know the story from the villain's perspective. I've got one more video planned on Remnant after this, but let me know if you like the style. I might use it again in the future. After Remnant, we're going into a much larger project related to the Total Conversion mod most of you probably haven't heard of. If you're interested in other lore videos on Remnant, I highly recommend QuickTab. I'll leave a link to his videos in the description.